Hello everybody, welcome back to 539. Today we are actually back at the Bowers Cemetery here in Northeast Indiana, outside of the Fort Wayne area. Well, actually I think inside of the Fort Wayne area. We're gonna actually check out the rest of the cemetery that we didn't get to see on the previous parts. And it's looking like it's gonna be pretty amazing. I don't really know if we're gonna find any other types of memorials. Usually a lot of places like this have like small war memorials, as we've seen in the past, and I don't know if we're gonna find anything. It looks like there's an area where there could be one, but just overall it seems to have been a really interesting area so far, so I'm excited to see what we'll find next. So we're now passing where we were last time, here at the spot of the old chapel. And so we have all this left to explore here. I don't think we got this section over here last time. You can see some large pieces of this memorial are missing. 1877, so been around quite a while, and I don't know if these are pieces from it over here. It kind of looks like it probably is. I was thinking it wasn't actually that tall, but it looks like it was quite the large memorial. It's like, let's go ahead and read this one too, actually. We have Frederick Gibbert, actually, here, 1823 to 1900. I don't know how well that's showing up. I think I should be able to pull it up a little better when I edit it. This one actually has names on both sides. We have Shiloh Andrews, 1816 to 1876, and then on the other side here, and even on the top, you can see Obed. Having a little bit of Obed. It looks like Andrews, 1814 to 1878, and then Sarah Andrews of 1834 to 1877. And some interesting little pieces here that I'm not sure what they belong to. This has several layers of paint on it right here. Might be an updated section marker to this section marker here, and both of them kind of fell into some level of decay or another. Let's see here that you really can't read. Oh, yeah, you can. It looks like, I think it says Melissa something of 1889, aged 40 years, maybe? I can't tell too much. Or, it's a little difficult, excuse me. I can't tell too well what it says. And then we have a veteran's marker over here, which again seems to be maybe misplaced. It looks like it would have been Civil War, so I'm not really sure. There might be a missing marker here. Yeah, because these ages wouldn't line up, even if she had somehow served, which would have been unlikely back then, maybe in some sort of medical capacity. Obviously. Oh, you can see right here. What is this? This is another GA marker. older GAR marker here. So I think that the updated veterans marker there actually belongs to a headstone that might be either in here or buried somewhere around here. It's difficult to say. If it's down there, it's deep and it's buried, because it's definitely not at the ground level anywhere. I don't know if you can tell, but very interesting GAR marker. And there is something here. I think that's just a decorative stone, or maybe just a stone that was there anyway. All right, let's continue on here. And there's a small one here that's kind of lost. No way of seeing any names or dates or anything like that. Whatever information was on it was worn off. So hopefully that's in the records. At some point I would like to start looking up a few of these places and find some of the old records and see maybe if we can identify some of that. But that'll come later on here. I'm going to try and steer clear of the sun for the moment. It's very hot out today. Well into the 90s. There's definitely a heat warning going on, but I wanted to get out and do something here. It looks like we're gonna have to switch around here, because now that we're halfway down the row, all the names are going the other way, and it looks like we're starting to get maybe into some newer stuff. Not this, obviously, but it looks like maybe this one was actually severed in half and then replaced onto its base without the bottom section there any longer. World War II there. Alciter Fraser. I think that's how you say that, maybe. And then what's really interesting, let's see, I guess that is more historic there, but it looks like maybe a veterans marker here, which resembles the Civil War markers, although, as I have said in the past, sometimes that is deceiving. But you can see right here the GAR marker, so it very clearly is definitely a Civil War veteran, and directly behind it is a newer memorial, not new per se, but at least significantly newer than the Civil War era, and yet so incredibly close together. I don't know what the sign on this tree says. Oh, it's the lots available sign. It looks like maybe another, I'm not sure if that's a Masonic symbol or not. Wow. And then right here we have something that is completely lost. No sign whatsoever of where it is. And okay, and I thought I saw another one over here, but this is just another case of one of these large planters being buried either on purpose or over time. I'm not really sure which. This place is huge though. There's so much to see here. It's gonna be really difficult to get everything in. Alright, here's something else that has been kind of restored. It's like 1873, and you can see that they decided not to use the original base, and there is a chunk of the stone still in there, and they just used the back side of it there, or maybe it was the front side at one time, to prop it up. Interesting choice. Maybe not a permanent one, not really sure. And then there's another one here that's completely unmarked, being slowly pushed by the tree. Although, oh, I am wrong, there is initials here on the back. So, something maybe needs to be respectfully and tastefully flipped around somehow. And here's one that is kind of what I was talking about. You can see it vaguely resembles the Civil War era stones, but it's from 1941. So probably signifying that maybe they passed in World War II. Or maybe that they had fought in World War I and passed years later. I'm not sure on that one. It seems like it's hinting towards World War II. And another ground level crypt this way with a really cool looking, I think that's copper front there. Right next to a Civil War monument, it looks like that's fallen over. Or it might actually have been, it appears like it could have been placed there, actually just for the purposes of being put somewhere where it should be, restored, I guess, to what's hopefully close to its original position. Lots and lots of visible section markers. I'm surprised how well the section markers have survived in this location. I'm almost thinking about making even another part. It seems like we're doing so well here today, but I'm not sure. We'll see how much the heat affects me here. So we have the Stauffer section here. Walter from 1887 to 1907. Is that Daniel, 1852 to 1918. And again, you can see that my predictions, or not predictions, my guess seems to be true, that it was kind of a running trend to leave the center stone blank, even though there is clear room there, which is intended for inscriptions, and to instead use it just as a family marker and leave the first names on the private stones next to it. And that's Adeline, 1863 to 1926. And Zelda, not one I see very often. So Zelda, and I'm guessing this would have meant that maybe they were married and their married last name was Solberger. So, very cool name. 1891, 1920, Zelda Solberger. Very cool. And another very clear section marker that has had to have been dug up several different times now. And these are getting a little bit new, but right around the corner, or I shouldn't say right around the corner, but right next to it, and again, kind of an oddity, you see that, I guess, again, it's probably not an oddity, it's probably just personal choice, but you can see that the names on this one are going the opposite way as this, and is the one directly next to it of August F. What is that? Gillamy? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. My apologies. 1859 to 1937, and a really amazing looking ground level crypt with, if you look close, it's actually not your typical cement or whatever. It's got these inlays of really shiny stones, and so it kind of sparkles as the sun hits it. I don't know how well you can tell. I can see it incredibly well from here. And here's an interesting one, just because of the age here. Inelli Evard, again, Galami, 1866 to 1958. So pretty close to making it to 100 years old. And you can see that the stone has moved quite a bit from its original centered position. So it makes me wonder sometimes why these do it. It could be some level of erosion. I know that seems strange, but it has been slightly tipped up. And if like any mud or anything gets underneath it and it rains, it could make it slippery enough, to move it a little bit. And another blank stone here, but I'm not assuming that this one is. I think it might be new and just not used yet, so. But again, just really interesting. Lots of stones in the center of rows in this place. Way more than the average that I've been to. It's a Mary and George Warner, Mary of 1857 to 1942, and George 1856, 1937. So, and some equally historic, and right around the same period too, which is kind of weird. Because you see the mother, Melinda, don't know that one either. Joof? Or Jiff, maybe? Might be, it seems maybe French? Not sure, correct me in the comments. 1859 to 1937, and you see Father Celestin of 1858 to 1942. But then you see right here, like, and so my question then is, where's the room? Because these people all passed around the same time. In fact, Melinda here passed in the exact same year as George here, and they're all within feet of each other. And so, I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe the burials were done the other way, and it would work. But it just seems rather odd. Again, maybe a personal choice thing here. You see Joseph here of 1883 to 1957. And yeah, if anybody wants to maybe spell that out phonetically in the comments, go ahead. Kloffenstein, another major name in the area. There's, to this day, is a furniture store by that last name. And if you ever listen to the radio around here on any station, you will know that very, very quickly. I did find something just now. And this is... Okay, so this is Henry Smith, 1862 to 1963, and then we have... Or 1930. That's weird. Look at this. Henry Smith, 1862 to 1938. Henry Smith, 1866 to 1938. I think we found an error, or there was a discrepancy in information. Now, then that may be the fact. See, back in the day, there wasn't always good records, especially if people were immigrants and they came from a country that either didn't keep records or they didn't bring the records with them. So sometimes they didn't even know themselves what the exact date of their own birth was, and so that very well may be the case there. And we have another last name that matches a road somewhere around here. There is an Evard Road. I don't remember where exactly it is, but we have 1883, 78 years. So when you hear that kind of false idea that people back in the day just didn't live as long, that's average. There were plenty of people living 80, 90, 100 plus years back then. It just, on average, was a lot less. And so, I'm not really sure what we should do at this point. I think we're going to do a few more rows and actually give it a whole nother part, because there's just so much moving forward. I feel like this place has just been a lot of fun to do like a deep dive into, and let me know in the comments if you like that idea. And we'll do a little bit more here, and then we'll come back for even another part, because I find this very fascinating. It's very historic to the area and the greater area as well, not just the city that we're in right now. It's got a lot of historic figures from probably before this was maybe even in city limits, and was just a part of Indiana and part of Allen County. And this is, that must be a birth date. I think this is 1804. Probably would have been slightly too old to appear in a graveyard in this area. And then we have Ringwalt right here. Not incredible. Well, actually, yeah, 1884 to 1967 for May and Joseph, 1876 to 1947, and a member of the Masons here. And so once again, thank you all so much for joining me. Remember, we have episodes now every Tuesday, every Saturday. Oh, there's like a squirrel right there. But every Tuesday and every Saturday from here on out, I'm going to make sure that that happens. He's letting me get really close. All right, never mind. But anyway, so make sure to check. Notifications don't always go out. The system is still slightly broken, and so we never really know how many people are going to get notified. So it'd be a big help. We've been doing this now for I think almost a month straight without missing a single day. So it would definitely be a big help to just on those days go ahead and check out, see if there is a new episode, because more than likely there is going to be new episodes, like I said, every Tuesday and every Saturday from here on out. So thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to throw this trash into my trunk here, and I will see you in the next part, and then more than likely probably at another location in the next adventure.